Adam Sandler is one of the most successful and most misunderstood figures in modern Hollywood. For decades, he's been labeled as childish, lazy, and unserious by critics. His movies are often dismissed as loud comedies filled with silly voices, crude jokes, and exaggerated characters. And yet, those same movies have earned billions of dollars worldwide, built one of the most loyal fan bases in comedy, and kept Adam Sandler consistently relevant for over 30 years. That contradiction is the key to understanding his career. Because Adam Sandler didn't succeed by chasing awards, prestige, or critical approval. He succeeded by doing something far simpler and far riskier, making movies that audiences actually wanted to watch, even when critics didn't. From his early days as a class clown and struggling stand-up comic, to his rise on Saturday Night Live, to becoming a box office powerhouse and later proving his dramatic range in films like Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems. Adam Sandler's career tells a larger story about comedy, creative control, and redefining what success in Hollywood really looks like. Today, we're breaking down the real history of Adam Sandler, his rise, his backlash, his reinvention, and the lasting legacy he's built on his own terms. This isn't about defending his movies. It's about understanding how he outlasted nearly everyone who doubted him. Adam Richard Sandler was born on September 9, 1966, in Brooklyn, New York, to a working-class Jewish family. His father, Stanley Sandler, worked as an electrical engineer, while his mother, Judith Sandler, was a nursery school teacher. When Adam was young, the family moved to Manchester, New Hampshire, a quieter environment that would shape his sense of humor and outsider perspective. Comedy wasn't something Adam Sandler studied at first. It was something he used socially. From an early age, he learned that humor earned attention. He entertained classmates, made people laugh at family gatherings, and developed a habit of using exaggerated voices and characters to break tension. According to Sandler himself, one of his older brothers encouraged him to try stand-up comedy as a teenager, advice that would quietly change his life. By the time he reached high school, Sandler was performing stand-up at local clubs and open mics. His material was raw, immature, and unpolished, but it had something important: confidence and fearlessness. After graduating, Sandler enrolled at New York University's Tisch School of the Arts, where he studied acting and graduated in 1988. While many students focused strictly on theater or film technique, Sandler continued blending performance with comedy, music, and absurdist humor. During this period, he developed several traits that would define his career: childlike characters, emotional vulnerability hidden behind jokes, musical comedy as storytelling, a willingness to look foolish on purpose. This wasn't calculated branding, it was instinct. Sandler wasn't trying to fit Hollywood's idea of a comedian. He was building his own voice long before Hollywood was paying attention. One thing establishes a crucial truth: Adam Sandler didn't stumble into comedy by accident. He used it as a tool to connect, to survive socially, and eventually to stand out. After graduating from NYU, Adam Sandler continued performing stand-up comedy while taking small acting and writing jobs. His big break came in 1989 when he was cast on The Cosby Show in a recurring role, a brief appearance, but one that helped him gain industry visibility. That visibility led to an opportunity that would define his early career. In 1990, Adam Sandler joined Saturday Night Live as a writer, hired during a period when the show was actively trying to reinvent itself. By the following season, he was promoted to featured cast member, quickly standing out for a style that felt different from traditional sketch comedy. Sandler's humor leaned into deliberate immaturity, awkwardness, loud, exaggerated voices, childlike logic delivered with total confidence. Characters like Opera Man, Canteen Boy, and Cajun Man became audience favorites. His musical performances, especially the Hanukkah song, connected deeply with viewers and expanded SNL's comedic range beyond traditional sketches. However, this same style divided critics and network executives. While audiences responded positively, many writers and producers viewed Sandler's humor as too juvenile and inconsistent with the show's traditional tone. His performances were often accused of being repetitive or overly silly, even as ratings remained strong. Behind the scenes, tension grew. In 1995, Adam Sandler and fellow cast member Chris Farley were not asked to return for the next season, a move widely interpreted as a firing, though never officially framed that way by NBC. At the time, the decision was controversial. Sandler was publicly popular, and his removal surprised fans. But instead of fighting to stay, Sandler chose to move on, a decision that would ultimately define his independence. This moment marked a turning point. Losing SNL didn't derail Adam Sandler's career. It freed him from it. Rather than chasing television success again, Sandler pivoted fully toward film, carrying his audience with him. With Sandler at a crossroads, a popular comedian rejected by the industry's biggest comedy platform, but now positioned to build something entirely on his own. After leaving Saturday Night Live in 1995, Adam Sandler moved quickly into film, not as a dramatic actor or prestige performer, but as a comedian determined to bring his voice directly to the big screen. His first major starring role came with Billy Madison in 1995. The movie was not a critical success, but immediately established something important. Sandler's humor worked outside of sketch comedy. Audiences responded to his childish energy, exaggerated emotions, and oddly sincere performances. Rather than adjust his style to fit Hollywood expectations, Sandler doubled down. In Happy Gilmore in 1996, Sandler refined what would become known as the Sandler Formula, an emotionally immature protagonist, an absurd premise taken seriously by the character, bursts of anger or childish behavior, moments of unexpected sincerity toward the end. The film was a commercial success and cemented Sandler as a bankable comedy lead. Over the next few years, Sandler continued to build momentum. The Wedding Singer, 1998, showed his romantic side. The Waterboy, 1998, became one of his biggest box office hits. Big Daddy, 1999, further solidified his appeal to mainstream audiences. During this period, critics remained largely negative, often labeling Sandler's work as crude or unsophisticated, but audiences kept showing up. By the end of the 1990s, Adam Sandler had achieved something rare. He was one of the most financially reliable comedy stars in Hollywood, despite limited critical approval. This era also revealed an important pattern. Sandler consistently worked with the same writers, the same actors, the same creative collaborators. These weren't random choices. Sandler valued trust, comfort, and creative control, setting the foundation for what would soon become a production empire. Sandler no longer seen as a former SNL cast member, but as a full-fledged movie star with a clearly defined comedic identity. By the late 1990s, Adam Sandler had reached a level of success that gave him something few comedians ever achieve: leverage. In 1999, Sandler founded Happy Madison Productions, named after Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison. The goal was simple: gain creative control and build a stable environment where he could make films on his own terms. Happy Madison allowed Sandler to choose projects without studio interference, work repeatedly with close friends and collaborators, control tone, casting, and production schedules. This period marked Sandler's most commercially dominant era. Through the early 2000s, Happy Madison produced or co-produced a string of successful films, including Big Daddy, 1999, Mr. Deeds, 2002, 50 First Dates, 2004, Anger Management, 2003, The Longest Yard, 2005. Many of these films performed strongly at the box office, often far exceeding expectations relative to their budgets. However, as Sandler's creative independence grew, so did critical backlash. Reviewers increasingly accused his films of repetitive humor, low-effort storytelling, excessive self-indulgence. A recurring criticism was that Sandler seemed more interested in working with friends, filming in attractive locations, maintaining comfort rather than innovation. Importantly, Sandler did not publicly dispute these criticisms. Instead, he continued making films that aligned with his priorities: consistency, loyalty, and audience familiarity. Behind the scenes, Happy Madison also functioned as a long-term employment hub. Actors such as Kevinjames, robschneider, Alan Covert, and others appeared repeatedly across projects, reinforcing Sandler's reputation for loyalty. By the mid-2000s, Adam Sandler's reputation had split in two: commercially dependable, critically dismissed, but financially the strategy worked. The highlights the central paradox of Sandler's career. He gained complete creative control and willingly accepted critical disapproval as a cost. By the late 2000s, Adam Sandler had nothing left to prove commercially. His comedies continued to earn money, but his critical reputation had largely settled into a familiar narrative: successful, popular, and unserious. For many performers, this would have marked creative stagnation. Instead, Sandler quietly demonstrated something else: the dramatic turn. Even during his peak comedy years, Sandler occasionally pursued dramatic roles, not to reinvent himself publicly, but to challenge himself privately. In Punch Drunk Love 2002, directed by Paul Thomas Anderson, Sandler delivered a restrained, emotionally complex performance that surprised both critics and audiences. The role showed that Sandler's intensity, often played for laughs, could be redirected into vulnerability. He followed this with Reign Over Me 2007, portraying a grieving widower suffering from trauma. While the film received mixed reviews, Sandler's performance was widely praised and reaffirmed his dramatic capability. Later, Sandler appeared in The Meyerowitz Stories, 2017, directed by Noah Baumbach, further cementing his credibility as a serious actor within independent cinema. The Netflix era. In 2014, Sandler signed a multi-film deal with Netflix, marking another strategic shift. Rather than chasing box office success, Sandler focused on direct-to-streaming releases, global audiences, creative autonomy without theatrical pressure. Films like The Ridiculous Six, Murder Mystery, and Hubie Halloween were critically panned, but became some of Netflix's most-watched original releases at the time. The pattern repeated: poor reviews, massive viewership, uncut gems, and critical recognition. In 2019, Sandler starred in Uncut Gems, directed by the Safdie brothers. The performance was widely regarded as the best of his career: intense, chaotic, and emotionally exhausting. Critics praised Sandler's transformation, and the film reintroduced some audiences who had long dismissed his talent. Notably, Sandler did not aggressively campaign for awards. Despite acclaim, he publicly stated that awards were never his focus. Legacy. Adam Sandler's legacy is not defined by trophies or critical consensus. It is defined by longevity across multiple eras, audience loyalty, creative independence, loyalty to collaborators. He built a career where success was measured on his own terms, choosing comfort, consistency, and personal values over prestige. Adam Sandler didn't chase approval. He outlasted it. Fun trivia about him: one, he wrote the Hanukkah song. Sandler wrote it because he realized there weren't many Jewish holiday songs. He performed it on SNL multiple times, and it became iconic. People still sing it every Hanukkah. 2, he was a class clown long before Hollywood. In high school, Sandler performed stand-up at local clubs. He honed his childish, exaggerated comedy style decades before his movies. 3, SNL fired him, but it jump-started his film career. Sandler was let go in 1995, along with Chris Farley. The firing pushed him into starring films like Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore. 4, he often plays characters way younger than he is. Billy Madison's protagonist is 27 pretending to be a kid. Big Daddy has him acting like a man-child responsible for a child. This eternal kid persona is deliberate and became his signature. 5, he repeats collaborators like a comedy family. Kevin James, Rob Schneider, Alan Covert, Steve Buscemi, and David Spade appear across dozens of his movies. This creates a familiar Sandler universe for audiences. 6, improvisation is key to his humor. Many lines in Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, and The Waterboy were improvised. Famous lines like "Stop looking at me, Swan" came from Sandler's spontaneous creativity. 7, he balances comedy and drama. Even at his silliest, he's capable of serious acting. Films like Punch Drunk Love and Uncut Gems prove he's a versatile performer. 8, he loves music in his comedy. Sandler frequently writes short songs or full musical sketches for his movies. Some are just one-liners in a scene, but others, like the Hanukkah song, became cultural staples. 9, Netflix deal is massive. signed a multi-film deal with Netflix in 2014. Despite critical backlash, his movies consistently pull huge viewership, proving his audience loyalty. 10. His comedy persona is inspired by real life. Sandler's man-child, awkward adult persona draws partly from his own self-deprecating humor in youth and early career stand-up. And that's the story of Adam Sandler. From a class clown in New Hampshire to SNL fame, to one of the most recognizable faces in comedy, and even a critically acclaimed dramatic actor. But now we want to hear from you. What's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? Do you love the goofy comedies? Or do you think his dramatic roles like Uncut gems steal the show? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every one. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Sandler's life, career, and legacy, don't forget to like this video to show some love, subscribe to Cinema Uncovered PH for more movie breakdowns, trivia, and hidden film stories. And hit the notification bell so you never miss our next cinematic uncovering. Thanks for watching, and remember, whether it's comedy, drama, or a bit of both, cinema always has a story worth uncovering.